Hello, guys. So, let us continue our discussion on patriarchy, right? So, next question is how much male dominance is patriarchy? Well, first of all, not all sort of male dominance is patriarchy because that is very subjective, right? But any sort of male dominance is patriarchy, which is based on gender grounds or traditional gender roles, like my neighbor controlling her daughter's political views, the clothes she's allowed to wear, the time she's allowed to stay out till, but not controlling the same political views for his son, or not controlling the people he hangs out with, the time he stays out till. So, that of course is patriarchy. But there's also a factor of concern versus restriction. I think that concern for women to not stay out late is not patriarchy because that's out of the system that you're in and you want to protect the family members. But the restriction and control on their mobility is, of course, male dominance and thus patriarchy. And do I practice or do I believe in patriarchy? Well, there's no particular patriarchy test unlike personality tests, and even if there are, I am totally not aware. So, if you know, put them in the comment box. I, however, have formulated a couple of questions you can ask yourself and assess if you do or do not believe in patriarchy. This isn't a proper test, it's just for normal rookie analysis and mostly for identifying signals of patriarchy and probably an invitation for change. And of course, actually, an invitation for change because oppression is never good. Equality is what we seek, right? Because it's good for all of the human beings that are there on the earth. I mean, it's got to be lovely to stay here, not a pain, not a compulsion to live your life the way somebody else wants is never good. We just want to have a good time here, don't we? So the sort of questions that I have formulated are: number one, do I restrict or offer unsolicited advice to my sister's wife, mother, or any other woman from doing certain things like going out alone, talking to a man, wearing certain clothes, or talking about certain things, talking loud, talking certain way? Number two, do I think that women cannot achieve as much as a man because they are just less capable given their woman? Number three, do I think that a father is more powerful and thus more important than a mother for all the families objectively? Number four, do I think that a woman shouldn't work or should not spend her money in the way she wants? Number six, do I think that a woman should always be ready to have sex when her husband wants, irrespective of her choice? Number seven, do I think that my sister shouldn't get any of my parents' property or less than me because she is a woman and I'm okay with sharing it with my other brothers, like equally sharing it by my other brothers? Number eight, do I think that women don't make better leaders? Number nine, do I think that all women are weaker and softer than all men and less capable than all men? Number 10, do I think that women are incapable of protecting themselves from potential external dangers? So these are just a few sample questions, not exhaustive, not mutually exclusive, and not totally conclusive, since these are subjective of other factors too. However, if you choose yes or maybe two answers of, let's say, three or more questions, you're most likely a believer. You believe in patriarchy, and it could also not always be intentional. It could also be because of the internalized norms, because of the system around you, and it's never too late to make a change. Of course, I mean, a change is always uh, necessary and most of the times good. Now, let's move on to the next question. Number seven, do all men believe in or practice patriarchy? Well, no, certainly not. I have met met many men who are absolutely amazing feminists, or like the best feminists I've ever met or seen. And many men who believe in patriarchy because it benefits them in numerous ways and are mostly not able to justify their belief in patriarchy because there's no, I mean, they just believe in patriarchy because it benefits them, right? So there's no logic, but it's right because it benefits me, you all. Now, next, number 8. Can or do women propagate patriarchy in any way? Yes, absolutely. By believing that it is the right system, by believing that they themselves and all the other women are inferior to women to men. This is very much prevalent in daily soaps, many Indian daily soaps. However, there's a very good change as well, which I would say that many daily soaps are now women centric and also are trying to portray that the society believes a certain way, which is obviously patriarchal, but also aims at improving their mindset and changing it for the better, trying to change the outlook of the families in the soap as to put forward a message that you should change, like the viewers should change as well, which is beautiful. But so how women want other women to be treated poorly because they have internalized oppression or have faced oppression, and thus they oppress others to avenge their oppression in several ways. It's not always intentional. Sometimes it's because of the ingrained knowledge, ingrained customs and behaviors and your surroundings. You become what you see, guys and girls. They see their ladies being ill treated all their lives and reprimanded for whenever they try to change the system or assert themselves. They accept the system. Thus, for avoiding punishment to try to change the norm or do otherwise, and B, seeking acceptance and value by the men in control by being devoted in their ways, having accepted them as the heads of the family. And yeah, so that's generally how we see women accepting and propagating patriarchy because they themselves have fallen victim to that or have become so accustomed to the ways or the system that they think that it is how it is. So, moving on to the next question, number 9. Who benefits from patriarchy? Well, men. All men? No, of course not. Even though you, as a woman, may believe in patriarchy and believe that you're benefiting off it, you're benefiting off as an agent uh, because you're trying to help the prime benefiter obtain their benefits easily. Too difficult? Well, let me explain. Emily's dad doesn't let Emily study and he makes her do household chores like washing, ironing his clothes, making him food, cleaning the house. Yes, his house. A year later, Emily gets married and her husband decides that he wants to have two sons and one son in about a year's time, but Emily is not ready. But he doesn't understand what being ready even means. He says that she can leave his house if she doesn't want to give him a baby, and Emily has no choice. Emily cannot go back to her father's house, right? So Emily's husband Rohan asks her also to wear suits with quarter to full sleeves, even in scorching heat, and himself wears like capris and t-shirts. He also denies her from going out alone anywhere. Her brother Daksh sold his dad's house, and Emily is to get no share, even when Emily is divorced. So here we see that it's a common example from around the world, and how it benefits men is in several ways. Number one, it saves her father the cost of sending her to school. It secondly saves her father the money from going to a cleaner, a washerman, a cook. A woman's labor is discounted. A woman's labor is many a times not paid for. Three, her husband benefits off her reproductive power. Fourth, her husband sexualizes her and controls her body. Fifth, her husband controls her mobility, and six, she's not even gotten the fair share from her parents' property. Now, it also is to add that now legally women are, legally allowed, basically legally empowered to get a share in their parents' property, which is a definitely amazing, uh, definitely amazing improvement. At this same time, I would like to put in some UN statistics here. Women do more than 60% of the hours of work done in the world, but they get 10% of the world's income and own 1% of the world's property. Now we see how big the gender wage gap is, and as well as how big the problem of women's work not being considered economic, right? No, they're not paid for their work. Simply, in the system of capitalism that we're living in, this is one very big example of discrimination against women or inequality against women, because feminism is not about discriminating against men or hating men. It's basically about equality. On the face of it, feminism might seem that it's very about prioritizing females over males, but not. Of course, it's not that. Now, let's not. Let's just move on to the next question, number 10. Do men always benefit? Can men be the victims of patriarchy? No, they do not benefit always. Absolutely not. And yes, they are, in fact, many times the victims, which is equally problematic. In no way a man's suffering is any less. How they are the victim of patriarchy? Well, I'll cover that in detail in like an upcoming video. But this generally happens when men challenge the status quo or do not believe in the system or concept of patriarchy. However, now I'd like also to say that it's good that the women are being empowered by the state and the fellow men in many ways, which is not to be ignored. But the point of feminism or liberating women off of patriarchy or freeing ourselves from the shackles of patriarchy is not men freeing us or men allowing us to do certain things. It's about we being considered capable and equal beings. Equal in terms of us making our own decisions as women. But that is also in no way to mean that men are to be getting less power or men are to be getting less in any certain thing, because feminism is about prioritizing women. No, of course not. Feminism is, of course, human equality. It's just equality for every other human being. Not because of this or that, just because they're humans and they all deserve to be equal. Now, I'd also like to show here a world map where it shows the gender gap index. Well, the equality, if we say, is 1.0, here we see that nowhere in the world have we reached the equality standard. Like, everywhere in the world, there's no place in the world where women are considered equal to men in terms of many things. And this data is of the year 2013. So we see that in India, which is here a light pinkish color, it's a deviation of about 0.3 to 0.35, which is a huge gap, right? So I would also put the link of the statistic, the UN statistics that I've mentioned, and this gender gap index in the description box below. And this is it for this video. I appreciate the policy and law amendments for the better protection and equality of women in India and across the world. But that doesn't mean that we don't get to hold accountable the people in power, because when we applaud you, we also criticize you and hold you accountable for the things that are yet to be done or have been done wrong. Lastly, I would just like to say that feminism isn't about hating men or hating motherhood or hating or trying to prioritize women over men. It's just about equality, which we will definitely cover in the upcoming videos. For now, I would like to say that is it, and let's smash the patriarchy together. Yours, Emerging Lady.